Akshay, yes, we are joined by Mr. Arun Jaitly, the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha and master strategist for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me ask you at the outset, Mr. Jaitly, is this election the defining moment in Mr. Narendra Modi's career? Are his stakes the greatest going into this election?
It's an important election both for the BJP and for Mr. Narendra Modi. And as the campaign has been going on for a long time, it enters into the final phase today. And I'm quite upbeat about the whole process because we enter the final phase really as a front runner.
Well, on the contrary, the Congress says that Rahul Gandhi's future does not hinge on the outcome of this election, unlike other prime ministerial candidates and aspirants from other parties, Mr. Jaitly.
Well, nobody's future depends on the outcome of the elections. I think politicians have a longevity. So I always advise friends in the media never to write political obituaries of any politician. You never know, like a phoenix when they... I think politicians have a longevity. So I always advise friends in the media never to write political obituaries of any politician. You never know, like a phoenix when they rise from the ashes. But then the election will decide the fate of the next 5 years. And I think as far as 5 years is concerned, is the immediate future of politicians involved. As I mentioned, Mr. Gandhi doesn't appear to be the front runner. In fact, he's trailing far behind Narendra Modi.
Okay, but at every turn, the Congress has said that this is an election between two ideologies, secularism and communalism. It's about an idea of India that is under assault. Mr. Jaitly, your response to this claim by the Congress, because that's how they are pitching this.
Well, the idea of India can be multiple ideas. You can't have a hegemony that there is only one idea of India. There can be several ideas of India. My ideas of India would be a corruption-free idea of India. Would be an injustice-free idea of India. Would be a very progressive and a growth-oriented idea of India. And therefore, this election is going to be dominated by, firstly, an anti-incumbency feeling against the present government. And secondly, a choice of the future government and a future leader.
Okay.
The leadership vacuum of the present government really has necessitated the choice of a future leadership. To that extent, even though in the parliamentary system, its ideologies, its parties, the leaders become quite important. And obviously, anybody who has a stronger leader then starts getting the advantage of the leader also. Because Congress doesn't have the advantage of leadership in this election,
yes,
they are going back to their plea that this is an election only about ideologies.
And this is demonstrated by the fact that the BJP has leveraged the leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi aggressively in this particular campaign, Mr. Jaitly.
Well, every election has its own agenda. It writes its own script. And in this election, leadership is a relevant issue because it's the vacuum of leadership in the last 10 years which is responsible for the crisis in the country today.
But would you not agree, Mr. Jaitly, that by doing so, the concomitant argument is that the BJP's fortunes are tied to those of Mr. Modi's? And if the NDA underperforms, would you not admit, sir, that Mr. Modi would be responsible for this?
Well, I don't think anybody is going to answer that question today and getting into a hypothetical situation as to what happens if it's a draw, what happens if it's a win or otherwise. I think we enter the final round phase of this election as a front runner. We are optimistic about winning the election. It's a collective victory and obviously the leader gets his own share of credit for it.
Okay, I just want to shift focus just a little bit away from the personality of Mr. Modi and to the outreach initiative. Now, is this an outreach initiative that has been put together by the strategists in the Bharatiya Janata Party, or is Mr. Modi personally involved in stitching these alliances up in the south, in Bihar, etc.?
You see, we have a very well-oiled machinery as far as the party organization is concerned, both in the center and the states. And at all levels, we are really working for developing that structure of the party itself. And therefore, when individuals belonging to different social groups join the party, obviously Mr. Modi has a very key say in it, but then it's the organization of that state which initiates the whole process. And all these processes have really been initiated by the organizational structure of the state itself.
Okay, the reason I've asked this question, Mr. Jaitly, is because it has been said that Mr. Modi is not ally-friendly and doesn't enjoy acceptability in some camps. Is that argument now a closed chapter for the Bharatiya Janata Party after Mr. Paswan has yoked his party to the BJP's, and some Dalit outfits have done so in Maharashtra and others in Tamil Nadu?
Well, this was a myth which was built up by the section of the media in September 2013 when we had announced Mr. Modi's name. Now, it's the media itself which is now busy dismantling that myth. I had always maintained a weak BJP will get no allies, a strong BJP will get many allies, some before the election, some after the elections. And I think it's going by the script.
Okay, so it's necessitated really by the numbers game. But conversely, is Mr. Modi's alliance outreach and acceptance of his limited appeal an acknowledgement that he alone can't deliver?
Well, I think a coalition politics in India is a reality. Are we in a stage where a single party gets 300 seats? Ordinarily, no. We've passed that stage. And therefore, in the last 20 years, coalition governments have become a reality, and therefore we recognize that reality. The NDA was a product of such a coalition politics. Coalition politics also represents and does credit to the federal character of India. I see nothing wrong in it. It doesn't mean lack of confidence. It really means recognition of the reality of India.
Okay, you've underperformed by your own expectations in Uttar Pradesh since 1999. How do you intend to turn this around this time under the leadership of Mr. Narendra Modi and also, of course, in consonance with his foot soldier, so to speak?
UP has seen two failed governments. It saw a very corrupt BSP government, and it's seen the re-emergence of what the UP considers Jungle Raj or Gunda Raj in UP once again. And therefore, Uttar Pradesh seems to be in a mood to try an alternative. They would like to go back to that 91 to 99 situation where the NDA was in power.
No, and I'm asking you therefore, sir, and this follows from this, are UP and Bihar pivotal for the Bharatiya Janata Party? Many people are saying that the BJP willy-nilly remains really a Hindi heartland party, that you don't really have a presence numerically in the south and in large swathes of the east, and therefore both these particular states of the Hindi heartland hold the key to Mr. Modi's personal fortunes and the Bharatiya Janata Party's collective fortunes.
I think UP and Bihar for BJP are important states where we increase our strength. There are several strongholds of the BJP where we want to maximize our gains. We want to have a high strike rate. But even newer areas, whether it's Telangana or it's expanded Bihar, Assam, we want to pick up seats in these states. And in areas where we were weak, I think we are going to pick up a very large percentage of vote.
Well, but these are also states where your rivals have raised what is being called the communal bogey. They've cited Mr. Rajnath Singh's statement saying that the BJP, that if the BJP has done something wrong, it will apologize. Now, is there an ambiguity, sir? Is there an ambiguity in the BJP, Mr. Jaitly, about the party's needs, what the party thinks it should be apologizing for?
Well, Well, first of all, let me answer your initial question. You answered it yourself by calling it a bogey. It's a bogey because when these allies support us, they support us in the name of anti-Congressism. And when they oppose us in the name of communalism. So these are very convenient arguments which some parties which constitute part of the third front or the federal front are managed to create. I don't think the BJP has anything in its track record where we should be ashamed of or we should be apologizing. I think Mr. Rajnath Singh was just being a little humble when he said that if we've done some mistake and we are in government, we'll certainly not mind bowing our head before you and apologizing.
Okay, finally, Mr. Jaitly, in the previous elections, especially the last one, the BJP didn't do very well when it came to the urban constituencies. If you crunch the numbers, you will see that in the last election in 2009, that's where the BJP really lost traction. Its message didn't really hit home there. Now, there is a question mark with regards to this election also, especially on the back of the Delhi Assembly result, where Mr. Kejriwal ran a very tight campaign against Mr. Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party and your candidate who was being projected as the chief minister there, Dr. Harshvardhan. Could this repeat itself across the country and once again you'd be pegged back?
Well, we did lose out in the urban constituencies in the last election, and I think we are on a good recovery track. Even in Delhi, let's not forget, we had more votes and more seats than the Aam Aadmi Party.
Fair enough. Mr. Jaitly, thanks for sparing your time this evening for us on NewsX. You've set the tone. You've said that picking up allies is not really indicative of any nervousness within the Bharatiya Janata Party or specifically in the mind of Mr. Narendra Modi as to the outcome of this election. Let's go back now to Akshay for the rest of the news.